All right, we are live. Welcome to another live stream that I'm not sure really anybody even watches except for my favorite people. So today, well, honestly, if you're new here and you're just joining us, I created this live stream as a placeholder for the Kafuzi Run Club. So, because Kafuzi, the goated, only does live streams, used to do them 5 days a week, 2 times a week. So, I just created a placeholder, a safe space for people to join us to talk about all things run training, running shoes. It's good because your significant other, I say this every week, doesn't give a shit about your running. They don't care. So you could tell me about it. You could tell your fellow runners in the chat, what did you run today? 6 easy miles? Fascinating. Tell me about it. What was the dew point? Was the dew point over 70? Because my heart is with you. Were you smart? Did you stay inside? Were you on a treadmill? What was the incline? You're nursing an injury? Maybe. You did some cross training. Zwift? Tell me about it. I've never Zwifted. I'm not a Zwifter. But you can talk to me. You could tell your fellow runners here about your Zwifting. Safe space. Absolutely 100%. So I'm getting a call from a number I don't know. So we tend to not answer those. On that show, on Kafuzi Run Club's live stream, he'll talk about being the number one live stream for X, Y, and Z, while you're getting a back massage, while you're going to sleep, while you're whatever else. We're not the number one live stream of anything. We are like the 43rd live stream. We are number 43 on the list of live streams. I'm not even sure there's 43 live streams. But if they are, what we give is 43rd. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And that's okay because number one in my heart. So Jason Horner is with us. He says, Wednesday Whopper interval workout, crushed it. Love to see it, Jason. Love to hear it. Let me get on Strava and give you some kudos. Everyone should just drop their Strava handles because I'm a whore when it comes to kudos. Let me just give them out. That's what it's for. I don't know how long we have guys in midlife. We don't know. Nothing. Tomorrow's not promised. You know how much time I have left. So, like, I say this a lot too. There's a comedian, Mark Mirren. I don't know. It's like maybe he had a Netflix special. I saw him when he came in town, and he always talks about, or he didn't always talk about, but he had a little shtick on. I don't know how much time I have left. You should listen to this band. He's like, I don't. A new band. I don't. I already got a lot of bands that I listen to. I don't know how much time I have left. And I find myself doing that. I've gone down the chess rabbit hole lately, and it's like, I don't have time. I don't have time. Am I addicted still? Yes, but I don't know how much time I have left. So, anyway, Jen Piazza says midlife coacher gave me a crazy progression workout today. I'm not his friend anymore. Oh, that's good to hear, Jen. You should fire him totally. For that. My coach gave me 8 by 5 minutes, but it was progressive. And then I was out on the track and I started too late because I had today off. So I woke up late and I was getting scorched earth. The sun was roasting me. And after 6 reps, I had to run back to the house. But it was a welcome stop. I was going to have to take 5-minute breaks in between the last 2 reps, which were supposed to get down to 10K, which would have felt like 5K. So, and I admitted that I just feel mentally weak. The summer is crushing me. I don't have a treadmill indoors, but something that I'm recommending to my runners is to run indoors in the air conditioning on a treadmill for a workout, especially a long run. And then all of a sudden your confidence can be renewed because you're like, wait, what? I'm crushing it. This can't be right. My heart rate's too low for this setting. It's because no dew point on the inside. Matt Byer says no run today. You know what, Matt? It's okay. You can share your rest day. That's how safe this space is. because all I'm reading is adaptations. No run today after getting back late last night from the World of Outlaws sprint car race. Oh, that's awesome. I don't think we have any car race talk on this channel. Elex Nuance says, yo, I signed up for the SA Marathon. See you in December? Yes, indeed. We've got to get you a refund, and I think I have a code. Maybe we'll get some. Maybe I have a code I could share with you and save you 10%. You know, the biggest scam is they don't rate the races with price fairly, or proportionately. You're not getting your bang for your buck on the miles. They're kind of like, look, we all know no one really wants to run a marathon except the true sickos in this world, which is everybody listening here. I imagine likes to run marathons mostly. Matt Byers is getting longer and longer in his distances. So they're like, marathon, $120. That's okay. That's the asking price to run a marathon. Let's say that's the half marathon, $110. So when you upsize, would you like to supersize your half marathon for only $10 more? You can get double the distance. And people don't really want to do that. So, it would be nice if it was $60 for the half and 120 for the full. But at the same time, if they did 110 for the half marathon, because that's their rate, nobody's paying 220 unless it's a world major for the marathon, in my opinion. I think so. Anyway, so yes, we'll do shakeouts. There's we'll be doing a lot for the SA Marathon. I'm an ambassador for the SATX Marathon, so I'm gonna be at events and helping push it out and try to get everybody I know signed up for a little bit of, I wouldn't say torture. I think we're going to have a great weather. We're going to turn it around because before the SATX Marathon, it was the Rock and Roll Marathon. That race seemed cursed by bad weather. It was my first marathon. I ran it, and it was the first week of December, so it's like the same weekend as CIM. It was 70 plus degrees with 100% humidity. It was miserable. I bonked balls. It's by bunks so hard. So anyway, if you want to share your runs, even if you do doubles, you sick twist. In the summer, it takes a different kind of person to do doubles. I've come to the conclusion that I am not a doubler at this point in my life. I don't know if I'll ever be a doubler. I imagine I'll have to. That's a lever I'll have to pull one day, but it tips me over into the point of feeling like I do it all the time. I run every day, just about 6-day weeks, just like Clayton Young, 6-day weeks. We have that in common. And I don't feel like I do it all the time. I just do it once a day. That's it. But with doubles, I feel like, didn't I just run? Then I'm going to go to sleep. Then I'm going to wake up and I'm going to run again. Do another job. Like I just did this. It does not spark joy. So we're throwing the doubles out for now. Maybe that'll change one day. I got nothing against doubles. So if you're a doubler, I accept you. And anything you feel like sharing is also true without comment. So Elex says midlife shakeout plan. I don't have a shakeout plan because it's 6 months from now, but I will definitely do a shakeout run. So I think it's going to be a good time. It's not an A race for me. It was originally an A race, but the back half of the race is got a lot of elevation, kind of like Boston, but without the net downhill. It's a scenic kind of course where you get a tour of the city. It's not the Houston flat fast banger so I am going to run Houston. I'm going to run Houston for sure. And that's going to be an A race. I'm also training currently for the Sugarland half. For those who are not from Texas, Houston is like Los Angeles. So people say they're from LA. They'll say, well, no, Tahunga or Burbank or Manhattan Beach or Redondo Beach or someplace, Encino, Burbank. And it's all considered Los Angeles. Houston's the same way. Houston is like Katy, Sugarland, the Woodlands. There's all of these different parts of Houston that are still technically like Houston, but then there's also downtown Houston, which is Houston's just like there's downtown LA, which is LA. So Sugarland is in the southwest. It's a bougie land, and they've got a half marathon that I'm going to run. That's flat-ish to my knowledge in the second week of October. Then I'm going to get into some marathon training. So right now I'm doing half marathon training, which is something I'm calling like a bridge build. It's bridging my speed to the marathon. So I'm extending the speed into 10K and threshold types of reps, trying to push the threshold needle. I don't know, is that a cliche? It sounds like a cliche that works in this example, from something like a 558 to a 546, 547. Is that possible? I don't know. Can I tell because it's hot and humid? No, I can't. I'm going to be surprised. I'm going to wait till there's a cold front and I'm going to, go on a threshold run and we're going to see if it moves. But no. So Elix says doubles in Texas, heat and humidity. No thanks. Conversely, Frank says doubles are the way. This is the way. Rob Thompson's in here, says rough week last week. Sudden Crohn's flare up. Took my Canadian kilometer crusher down to nil. Fast reset and we're back. Yesterday, Jay Daniels 12-mile workout was a dream. Legs so fresh. Let's go. I love to hear about the Crohn's flare up. But sometimes rest is what we need. It's where the adaptations hit. Kind of force the rest. Kind of soaks in. Those Jack Daniels, man, he's a beast. 12-mile workout was a dream. Stevie 76 was in here with a message and then it got retracted. What a tease. Missed you, Stevie. Glad to see you. Glad to see you in here. So, let's see. Oh yeah. So if you noticed on the thumbnail for the live streams, if you've been coming a while, I'll try to tackle a topic. I used to lead with that. So if you clicked on here, you just get that and you get out of the way and be like, okay, because I don't want to hear anything else this guy has to say. I really just wanted to hear about this bullshit thumbnail. And on it, it says my new SL2. So we're going to talk about that because I got the SL2. The Adidas SL2 was many people's favorite shoe last year, favorite daily trainer. And it's just a shoe. It's a Jazz. And I'm a Jagati. I'm just a guy on the internet. So I like a Jazz. I like a good Jazz for sure. Pegasus, Ghost, Jazz. They're just a shoe to train in. And from the Adidas lineup, it was missing for a while. And I ran in the SL1. And I was very excited because I liked the Takumi Sen. And this was the Adi Zero lineup. And this is the Adi Zero daily trainer. And I'm like, yes, this is going to be so great. And I had this expectation that I ran in it. And it had a puck of Light Strike Pro in it. It had a puck. That's what everyone would say. It has this puck. And you could see a puck of Light Strike Pro. Couldn't feel it. It was firm. FAF. Okay. Firm AF. And I did not get on with the shoe very well. And I ended up returning it or selling it. I can't remember. And I was a little disappointed. SL2 came out. I was in a no buy, so I didn't buy it. Everybody's like, the shoe is fire, because that's what people have been saying since 2015. Straight flames. Everybody loved the shoe. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm so cringy sometimes it hurts my own soul. I want you to know that. Okay. Do I still say it anyway? I do. Okay. But so I have that on, I because it goes on sale. Adidas, I don't know what Adidas, I don't know who's running their thing, like their website, but I feel like they're trolling sometimes. They're like, let's just take this Takumi Sen 8 that's $180 and make it 95. And then everyone buys it. Let's just take this shoe, like the Audio 6, they used to pay you to take it. Like I think I got paid by Adidas to get the Audio 6. So the SL is currently on the Adidas site in the States anyway, in various different colorways from universities and regular colorways for $50. This was $52. There's $56 versions. I got the Arizona State kind, the Go Sun Devils, Jake the Snake Plumber. I'm not sure who else went to Arizona State. It might just be that. There's only a handful of guys that I know that went to Arizona State in the league. Anyway, not important. Tangent. It's a banger. It's a great shoe. They were really right. Just a shoe. But as far as just the shoes go, premium, top tier, $50. They were right. And I just ran in it and it's wonderful. Now, the only shoe company that sends me shoes that I ask for as I reach out to everybody and I'm like, you go spare some shoes for, and I don't know what that was, but there nobody responds usually, and I don't know PR people and I don't go to events. So I am going to go to the run event this year and I'm going to try to make some connections. But Mizuno sends me shoes. They sent me the Wave Rider 29 and I ran in this shoe right after I ran in the SL2 and they felt almost exactly the same. And I was like, wow. And similarly, I ran in the Wave Rider 28. Wave Rider 28, you know it's coming because I got my air quotes up, had a puck of Energy Next, their new foam, had a puck of it in the heel, but it still had their massive 12 millimeter drop. And in big drop shoes, you get a lot of ground contact under the forefoot. So like you could put whatever puck you want in it. If you put it in the heel, I mean, it's good. It's a good shoe, but just a shoe, not the SL2. The SL1 to the SL2, they put more than a puck. I forgot to mention that. It's like I forgot the punchline of the joke, right? It runs almost all the way up. And similarly, and the Wave Rider 29, that puck no longer exists. First of all, the shoe design is full now. It's not as disjointed, it's more connected. And if you look at the outsoles of these shoes on the bottom next to each other, they've got plenty of rubber coverage and they look almost identical. I don't know how to show that. You see the heel is a little bit bigger in the Wave Rider. So, but by a hair, it's just a little bit bigger. So I think the Wave Rider 29 is a slightly softer in the heel, but towards the front, it's just as firm as the SL2 or somewhat bouncy. The SL2 has a little bounce to it, which is really nice, which is what everybody likes, which is why everyone was like, the SL2 is a great shoe for the price. Can't believe it was only $130. Now it's $50. So the dilemma is if you can get the SL2 for $50, then you wouldn't need to get the Wave Rider 29 for $140 or $150 or whatever it's going to retail at. Now, I think Mizuno's making moves. Mizuno is doing things like some companies, they shift a little. Like Saucony is not really innovating a ton right now. It seems like their moves aren't as big. Mizuno took the Energy Next in the foam, and then they have different versions of it. They have nitrogen infused EVA, nitrogen infused TPU, Energy Next. And so the foam in the forefoot of the Wave Rider 29 still has the more of the Asics dull bounce, right? Like it doesn't have a spongy bounce, and it's not super soft. It's not the Energy Next that's like in the Neo Vista version 2 that's super soft in the forefoot. But it shouldn't be, right? Because just a shoe is just a shoe. You're just going to run in it. It should be nice, comfortable enough, good for walking. It's nimble. I could pick it up if I want, but it's not aggressive. I'm in control of the shoe. It's not too soft. Bam, right there. So I also have the benefit of no nostalgia. I did not run in the SL2 when it came out. Can't be like, oh, last year this was the best shoe. This is the best shoe. And I would remember the SL2 in a different way than it actually feels. This morning, for my recovery, my cool down, I put the SL2 on one shoe. And I never do this, guys. Not because it's gimmicky. It's just I want to be fair to the miles on the shoes. Like, so if I run one shoe SL2, one shoe Mizuno, how do I log those miles? I want to be fair and just to the miles run on each shoe. I want to tally them correctly. But there was a mild difference. And the Mizuno does feel a little bit wider on the platform just by a hair. So it's just slightly more supportive, but they essentially feel pretty much the same. So when the Adidas is sold out and is no longer on sale, or when the Wave Rider goes on sale next year when the 30 comes out, or if they just have a sale, or if you just like Mizuno, totally the SL2 of this year. That's my hot take. I'm sticking to it. I've got a few more shoes to talk about, but we'll just hop back in the chat here. Matt Byer says, looking forward to the 2/3 10K replay. Hopefully Friday, this time in my new Vaporfly 4s. Want to check out the run metrics versus the same run and the Vaporfly 3s from last week. Awesome, Matt. So the 2/3 workout, guys, is something that I created that Matt's doing, and it's I don't coach Matt or anything, but he's adopting this workout. As you run 2/3 of your race that you're going to run at race pace, as like when it's go time in the lead up to the race, versus say like 5 by a K with 2 minutes rest for your 5K. You just run 2 miles at 5K with no breaks, and you're like it's race day, to see if you can really sustain that pace and hold it and just get ready for the race. For like a 10K, you would be running like 4 miles roughly. Anyway, so Matt, looking forward to Matt is also a spy for Nike. Sorry, I just blew your cover, Matt. He's a recruiter for sure. He gets paid by them. Not really, but he's got me running in a lot of Nike shoes. I made a video. It's my Nike rotation. Nobody watched it. I don't know if it's because people are like, I don't care about Nike rotations, or the algorithm like forgot about me because all I do is these live streams once a week, and then I've fallen off the videos. Maybe I'll make a bunch of shorts about all of the shoes, and then that way the algorithm, I'll stay in the good graces of the algo. Philip Watt says he ran 8 by 400 meters on a track yesterday in 80 degrees. About to run some hills today in 90 degrees now that I'm done with work. Heesh. It's brutal. It's brutal. Let's see again. My wife is texting me. We always stop to check in to see what the wife is saying. So sometimes she spies on me. She listens to the live stream sometimes in the background. All right. Sometimes she's like, "We just talk to me so I can go to sleep." I'm her ASMR. She's an ASMR person. She likes ASMR. I woke up the one time, maybe 8 years ago, in it from a nightmare, and I heard all of the smacking noises and stuff. And I guess her headphones had died, but whatever her phone was playing, she was listening to ASMR of people eating, and I thought I was being attacked by like a bunch of bees were stinging me in the face. I was just like, stop! What is going on? I was seizing. I don't know how anyone can go to sleep to that noise of just people just eating. I have that thing, that thing. So Nicholas says, I got the Washington Huskies colorway. Unfortunately, it's too narrow. Oh man, it is a narrow shoe. It is. That's the Mizuno's a little bit wider. The Mizuno's a little bit wider. I did think about that when I put on the SL2. It reminded me of the Boston 12, the Prime X, like all of the Adidas shoes are just like narrow and kind of long. So who played for Washington? Jake Locker. They've got usually a good receiver. They usually have some really good receivers. college football wise. Huskies. Jason says you have to run the exact same distance with the other side of each shoe. That's true. I could run 1 mile in one, swap the others, run one in the other, and then log it 1 mile in each shoe. And then I would be fair to both shoes. So the captain Chaz is in here. 3 runs today, 1 base run, 1 with ATP hill sprints. That's fast. And finally, a shoe off with the Edge Tokyo. If you guys do not follow the Captain Chaz, you should totally follow him and subscribe to his channel on YouTube. He just ran a mile in under 5 minutes. His downhill. He gave plenty of disclaimers, but still a giant feat. Nonetheless, Chaz, I always listen when I'm running and I'm unavailable to stop and just like leave you a comment and love. I got to do that next time to leave a comment, but he's the only guy I know who's a Jigati, the guy on the internet who has more running shoes than I. Frank says, one confusing thing about the SL2 is that there's a Duramo SL2 and an Adizero SL2. That's interesting. There are so many shoes in the world, like, or each brand makes so many different like lineups. I'm gonna make an Adidas running shoe rotation video next. And I think I have most because like the Nike, I didn't include in the Nike rotation a max stack. I tried the Nike Pegasus Premium and I did not like that shoe and I sold it or I traded for the Glycerin Max, which I love the Glycerin Max. And I run in the Glycerin Max and I have close to 300 miles. And then I also have the Neo Vista version 2 for the max stack. But if I had a Nike max stack shoe, it'd be the not the Vomero, Invincible. But I haven't run in the Invincible since the first one. I had 2 pairs. Ran through it. I'm running the second pair, which I still have. I just never run in it. So they just came out with the new Nike Vomero Plus, which is like the Invincible replacement, and I haven't run in that because I already have 2 shoes that I run in that are big like that. And so I was thinking about Adidas, and I was like, what is the big Adidas shoe? And I guess maybe it's the Primex Strung. They just came out with the 3, but I run in the 1, and that one wasn't really a recovery shoe. It was more like for workouts, and it was more lightweight. And it, I did run some recovery in it, but I was like, what is, and I think they have something like the Audi Star. They just like have a whole lineup. And New Balance too, the fresh foam lineup. I never ran into Balos. I liked the Fuel Cell line for a while, at least in 2022. This is very different. I know they keep changing and tweaking the foam, but it's like I don't have an Adidas massive big boy kind of shoe. And maybe it's the Primex 3 or something. But anyway, I got to make a lineup because I have the Adios 9. I'm not going to get the Takumi Sen 11. I ran into the I can't talk today, man. The Takumi Sen 10. And I was thinking about how different it was than the 8. And I would use the Adios 9 like I used to use the Takumi Sen 8. But the Takumi Sen 10 is more like that full length carbon rods, so stiff. They're like a blade, and the Takumi 8 is like more of a dagger. It's just like fast 5K. And so like at the beginning when I got the Takumi Sen 10, I did use it for a lot of 5K and 10K work, but I found myself doing more tempo work and 10K work in it. And I think I would use the Adios 9 for 5K stuff now. So Eric Paramount's in here. What's up, Eric? Did you say a lot of shoes? Front, center, and present. The Pace Pusher is joining us. See new Adidas SL2 thumbnail. Automatic click. One of my favorite shoes. My number 1 travel do-all shoes when I'm on the road for work. Yeah, it's an absolutely fantastic shoe. And again, it's in that just the shoe category. Jazz. And the reason I was hesitant to get it when it was like 130 discounted to like $90 was because I have to run in all these other shoes. I don't have to. No one's twisting my arm to like run in these shoes. But generally, I'm like, if I have the choice, I'm like, oh, I got the Puma Mag Max just sitting right there. Which, by the way, guys, I got very close to 100 miles, if not at 100 miles. And I have a thought. I have thoughts on that too. It's a Zone 3 shoe, and I don't know if I'm going to do any more Zone 3 shoes, guys. I don't run in them frequently. But my point is, it's like if I have an Evo SL, if I have a Puma Mag Max, am I going to really reach for the SL2? When am I going to reach for the SL2? And I think I'm going to reach for it when I have to run slower, and I will not be encouraged to go faster. That's what I think. Kuvang's in here. What's up, Kuvang? He says, Max Stack, the Vomero Premium looks like it can put me on the moon. Makes me want to get it. Maybe. Someone posted a picture of the Vomero Premium, and I think that one's like 55 millimeters a stack or something. And I just wrote, "K, bye," in the Supwell app. Yeah. And that's not fair. The Pegasus Premium put me off a little bit. So that's not fair to the Vomero Premium. But I felt like the Vomero 18 looked like it had a new look, but I also at the same time felt exactly like I knew what that shoe was going to be. And I still do feel like I know exactly what that it's like and I heard Chris, my man, Chris Stepanek, Chris Pegasus Sagasu saying the Vomero 18 is like a more stack Pegasus, essentially. That's kind of how I felt about the Vomero historically, and nothing wrong with it. I just would, I've got so many shoes to get and not so much money. All right, Jason Horner has subscribed to the Captain Chess. And his notifications on now. He's just got to get through 154 videos. Yeah. So Chas keeps it real. Just let you know how it is. Frank says there isn't an Adizero equivalent of like a Triumph. Yeah. Speaking of which, let's talk about this. Okay. The other shoe that they sent me in Mizuno did is the Wave Sky 9. The Wave Sky 9 is in that ballpark, in that genre of shoe. Would you say like Nimbus, Triumph, like not max stack, high stack? So max stack would be like Glycerin Max and all those chonk big shoes. But then there's this like daily trainer with more stack, but it's not necessarily super soft. It's not supposed to be a cushion, right? Like I would say Saucony Triumph is like a bigger Saucony Ride, maybe. So the Wave Sky 9 is Mizuno's boatish, like, and I think this shoe historically tends to be from my runner friends, bigger dudes. Bigger dudes tend to like the Nimbus. Bigger dudes tend to like the Triumph because to them, they're able to compress the foam and get more out of it. So my experience in the Wave Sky 9, which compared to the Wave Sky 8, I don't see a lot of people running in Mizuno, so I don't want to waste too much time in comparisons. But the Wave Sky 8 was softer, and I wouldn't say bottomed out in the forefoot, but you could feel a lot of that compression. This is fortified. The Wave Sky 9 is a lot more underfoot. It's got, see how wide the base is? From the outsole anyway. Kind of gives that New Balance wider platform or Hoka, but the upper is still very narrow. That's the only kind of weird thing. So it didn't, it's like when I look down, I can see the foam outside of my foot. I was surprised at how much I have a narrow foot. So for me, it was a good lockdown, but I cannot see it being friendly for wide foot people. Maybe they'll make a wide version of it, but that's the genre that it's in. And because I feel like that genre is not meant for a short king like myself, I don't running the Triumph. I don't review the Triumph. I don't review the Nimbus. It's not my thing. It's not my thing. So I don't know who does. I don't know if Chaz reviews all those or if he just does the latest super shoes. He runs in a lot of shoes. He probably runs in all of them. Let's see. Eric says, that's true, Frank. Supernova close, but not quite Triumph like. Yeah, the Supernova. That I never. So that I think that was Sagasu's favorite shoe last year was the Supernova Rise, maybe. And then the Rise 2 came out. I don't think people are going to hop on this Wave Rider 29 train because the hype train, I don't think it's going to get the hype train because that story's already been told. Even if it's like the SL2, even if someone put it on, because there was some guy online today, my guy in Austin, and he was saying, actually the foam is a little bit more firm up front in the Mizuno Wave Rider 29 compared to the SL2, and that's his experience. So it is true. I felt they were similar enough, but it's already a story that's been told. And when you hear the story the first time, it's great. It's like Meryl Streep. She gets nominated 24 times. It's like she's won twice, 3 times, however many times she's won. Same old story. Yeah. Obligatory. Put her in there. Book's always better than the movie. I've already seen the story. I've read the book. This random memory popped in my head in 9th grade. Someone doing a book report of Jurassic Park, and they were just like quoting the movie, but they didn't know the teacher had already read the book from Jurassic Park. In the book, the old man's a bad guy, and they didn't know, and they got caught. And I was just watching it unfold. I was like, this is great. I need some popcorn. This is embarrassing. And that person's probably like, that was embarrassing. Good thing it was in the 9th grade in 1995 and no one remembers, but I do remember, and I do not forget. Anyway, I don't think people are going to really hop on the Wave Rider 29 train because one, the SL2 is $50, but also it's like we've already kind of seen that story. Like the Endorphin Speed from Saucony, the first one, goated. Everybody's like, this is the GOAT, it's the greatest. It's nylon plate. I was on that train too. I loved that shoe. So I felt like I was cheating. I felt like a cheat code in 2020. Next year, they do an upper update. It's largely the same shoe. It doesn't make anybody's top list. They were already exposed to it. They're like, yeah, okay. This is status quo now. SL2 was the first in the jazz. Demand more from your just a shoe. Anyway. Panos is in here. What's up, Panos? First workout in months today in the Zoom Fly 6. As you said in your Nike video, they are great at threshold pace. The plate isn't too stiff, just flexible enough to almost disappear at that pace. Yeah, I agree. And I've gone on runs some days, and when I'm warming up, I'm like, man, this is a great shoe at every pace. And then when I first got the shoe, I was warming up. I took it for a long run. I had threshold pace in it. And I was like, this shoe is very uncomfortable at everyday paces, but it just sings at threshold. It's great. So it really depends on the day for those other paces. But I do see sometimes people are like, this shoe is one note. I've said that about the Evo SL. Like, that's the best pace that it's at is zone 3. But like, that's the intended use case for the shoe, right? It's like saying this ratio is just not comfortable at easy paces. It's really only one note, and that's race day speed. Oh, good. Mission accomplished. That's the point of the shoe, right? Versus kind of like a daily trainer. The internet is so weird. I still catch so much shit for that Evo SL one note thing. That thing's got like 100,000 views. I literally was sitting in this same chair right here. I turned my phone on and I was like, hey, the shoe's one note. And I posted it because I had to get something out to keep the algorithm happy. And the algorithm was like, oh, sure. Yeah, let's put that out there to 100,000 people. What? Why that? Why that? I had no rhyme or reason to it. I don't know what it was. Maybe Evo SL was trending at the time and it just decided to put it everywhere. But I still catch a lot of shit for that. Nike too. There were a lot of Nike haters. And some people like Nike. I don't know. It's weird. Let's see. The Captain Chess says, nah, fellow short king here, and not as many of the premium dailies. Okay, so he doesn't cover the triumphs of the world. Who can we rely on for a good Triumph and Nimbus review? Eric Paramont's his favorite daily this year, and it surprised me at the Solomon Aeroglide 3. Shocked. Like a past lighter version of the Triumph. Outsole, not super durable though. You know, I've seen that one on the Supwell app a couple of times in my size for around $100, $90, $100. And I pass on it every time. I know that it's Joanna's favorite daily trainer thus far this year, but we tend to like different shoes, and he tends to power down more, and he's a heel striker, to my knowledge. So are you, Eric, and that makes a lot of sense. I've heard nothing but the best things from that shoe, and it's on my list. But it's been such a year. I haven't even run in the Nova Blast 5. Nova Blast 1, favorite shoe of all time. I put 300 plus on the Nova Blast 2. I put probably 200 on the Nova Blast 3. I put 100 plus in the Nova Blast 4. I still haven't bought the 5. I still haven't bought the 5. It's like, and I'm sure I'm going to run in it and be like, I can't believe I slept on this shoe. And I heard that one kind of loses a little bit of juice after 100 miles, but I don't know. I got to find out for myself. But, I made a commitment at the beginning of the year. Small C commitment. It's not a big C. Small C commitment is like, if I'm feeling it. Big C commitment, like actual commitment, is you do it even when you don't feel like you're doing it. It's kind of how I lay it out for my baristas anyway. And is to buy more daily trainers. I wanted this year to be the first year that I ran in the Ghost. Still haven't pulled the trigger, but I wanted to try. I know the Bondi, the Clifton, all these shoes are like the staple shoes are going through a lot of changes, like the Wave Rider going 12 millimeters down to 10. I would love to see an 8 millimeter drop and a little bit of that softer TPU in nitrogen infused TPU in the forefoot. Kind of like what the Nova Blast 1 did. It went from 10 millimeters to, I think, 8 millimeters. And then they added 2 millimeters of bouncy foam in the forefoot. That shoe was so unstable. That shoe was everywhere. But it made it a different kind of ride for sure. But I still enjoyed it. So I could see that happening with the Wave Rider 30 because Mizuno is innovating and making a lot of changes. So on the year to year, they're putting in the work. Andrew Cho says, have you tried the More V5? It's on sale for $97 from Joe's. It looks comfy for recovery run. I ran in the More V3 and I ran in some Hokas when I first started running in 2020, and they reminded me of the same thing. Like the platform is too big for me in my likings, and when I land, it kind of forces my foot a certain way. It's just like it's too large for me. It wasn't as comfortable as I thought maybe it was going to be, and so I haven't tried the More lineup since then. I tried the New Balance 1080 V13, made a video on that, hated that shoe, put maybe 70 miles on it. Super soft, a little too soft. It's one of the softest shoes I've ever run in. I compressed. I still haven't rebounded. I haven't come back from it. Maybe that's where it all went wrong for me. I don't know, but sold that shoe. And I haven't, in New Balance's formulation, where they mess with the fuel cell and they have a bunch of for the Rebel V4, and then I just haven't gone back to New Balance since the SC Pesa. No, the SC Trainer. I did version 1, I did version 2, and they kind of fell off on version 2. I love version 1. I love the Rebel V3, but not the 4 as much. I'm just waiting for New Balance to transition because New Balance is putting in the work. They're innovating, just not to my specs or liking. So then like people will run in shoes, tell me it's the greatest thing ever, and then I'll return to it, I'm sure. So JBS is in here from across the pond. Good day to you, sir. He said, making me feel old. I had my first son in 96. Well, well, 95. Well, so 96, I was 16. So not that old. MK's in here. Oh man, all hearts in the house. MK. I don't know what it is, bro, but you're not in my algorithm anymore. I got to go find you in like 6-year videos so they just pops up. But you know what? I don't know what it is, guys. This is not a secret show. We got 26 people in here. My news feed's all Epstein. It's crazy. I'm just like, all right. Anyway, rebuilding fitness and doing everything in the Super Blast 2 that I'm about to retire. Any recommendations for new all-around kicks? That's a great question. A do-it-all. The Super Blast 2 is unique in that it's light enough that you really can do all the stuff in it. And that's the same way I used the Primex Strong, which I got to 900 miles this last week. But like a shoe, like a big clunker like the Mag Max is fun, but I really feel it's like Zone 3 shoe. I wouldn't, and I could do daily in it. It's kind of fun, but it's a little too bulky or bulbous. I'll have to think about that one. I would say no, yeah. Yeah. And like Glycerin Max is fun for like recovery all the way up to steezy running. I might say the best one is the Mount to Coast R1 because that one is cruising. I mean, it's an ultra shoe. It's for ultras, but it's got its slight Peepa bounce to it. Like, and it's light. It's 8 ounces maybe, and it really rebounds well at 6 minutes a mile or 3:45 a kilometer. So I feel like that shoe is great for doing everything. And like their whole thing is like, look at this shoe. It went 900 miles. This guy ran 2,400 miles. This guy ran across Australia and he stomped on 3-foot spiders. I don't know what I'm talking about. Kuvang says, I still haven't put any miles on my second Nova Blast 5 either. Kuvang, if you got an extra pair lying around, man, you could send them. Kuvang was nice enough when I was in Boston to let me run in the Yogeri S4 from Asics. That shoe is quietly great. That shoe is a banger. I don't even think they sell it here. I'm not sure, but, or maybe they did, and it was like a limited run. But wow, it's supposed to be like a 4-hour marathoner shoe. You don't have to be 4-hour marathoner to really enjoy that shoe. And the plate comes in as nice and scooped. So if you like the wedge shape, that shoe, I just, I'm going to pick it up when I can, if I see it available. Eric Paramount says, Nova Blast 5s aren't dead yet after 200 miles. Despite tales of it flattening out, outsole is more durable than my Super Blast 2, 1 and 2. Great recovery run shoe to easy miles. Well, thanks for sharing, Eric. You never know with the tall tales. We tell stories all the time. One of which is, I don't know how much time I have left. Can you do this? 45 now. I don't know how much time I have left. I could be playing chess, you know? Can't listen to that band. I don't know what time I have left. Matt Byer says, don't bother with the Nova Blast 5. We tend to like the same types of shoes, and I'm wondering when I'll use the shoe after 116 miles. The midsole has softened to the point I'm climbing out of it. Matt's a Nike guy through and through. Wojciech's in here. What's up, everyone? Just got the Nova Blast 5 and the Nimbus 27 for $87 each. Cite your source, Wojciech. Help us all out. Let us know where you've got such a deal for $87. Morris is in here. He says, how about the Puma Velocity 3 or 4? Great all-rounder. Not very similar to the Super Blast 2, but in a good way. So the Velocity, this is another thing. The Velocity is in the same genre as the SL2 and the Wave Rider 29, and it's getting the nitrogen-infused foam. It's getting the Puma makeup, the glow up, the Puma glow up. I love Puma. Puma is my favorite shoe brand. They've been my favorite shoe brand for a long time, for the least last couple of years anyway. And they can do no wrong, in my opinion, from even when they were making the Liberate Nitro all the way to this. So I'm sure that the Velocity, which I haven't tried, is going to be a good shoe. And based on Ko's review and another review that I saw on the shoe, the new foam feels good, but it's not like bouncy super foam that it's providing a nicer ride, similar to the SL2 and I think the Wave Rider 29. So when I got these two shoes, one for $50 and one for review for testing for Mizuno, I scratched off my list the Velocity because I was going to get the Velocity before that. I was planning on it. Luis Becerra's in here. Hi, everyone. Hi, Luis. Hola. Glad you can make it. The Pace Pusher says the R1 is an excellent shoe. Eric Paramount says Mountain One Coast T1. This is a trail shoe, guys. And Eric would know. He lives in Colorado. He says it's a really good trail shoe. Pretty impressive for a brand new company. A little soft for technical terrain, but comfortable, breathable, and yes, light. Eric, Mountain Coast, I lied. I lied to you guys, and I need to apologize. Mizuno isn't the only company that sent me shoes. Mountain Coast also sent me shoes a few years ago, and I'm on their list. So they send me shoes when they ask, "Hey, do you want to run in the P1, which is their stability shoe?" And I said, "Nah, I'm not really stability guy, right?" And then I'm on the list. They sent me the shoe, and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna find a way to eventually run in this shoe, but I don't like stability shoes." They said, "Hey, do you want to run in this trail shoe?" And I said, "No, I don't run a lot of trails." They send me the shoe anyway. So I have those shoes, Eric. I just don't have time or trails to run on. I'm sure there's trails somewhere that I could do. So the Captain Chaz is weighing in here for the do-it-all shoes. The Topo Spectre 2 for wide feet, the Hoka Mach 6 for narrow feet. Yeah, and Mach 6 for me is a shoe that work's calling me. I'm gonna have to call them back. It's the store is burning. Always, the stores are burning down. Everything's crazy. Hoka Mach 6, I felt my knee ache a little bit. I don't know. I don't feel like I need stability shoes. Maybe I do. Maybe I need stability shoes after all, guys. The P1, maybe I should just run in the P1 more. But that one's a little wobbly for me. Frank's in here with the verdict. Thank you, Frank. So now my kids could tell me, "Hey, Dad, get off the chess." 45 is definitely past retirement age for chess. Yeah. So I think my ELO is probably like 1,000, and the getting sub 3 is like the equivalent of 2,000. So just need to double it up. I don't have time to invest in it. And really, there's the best lines that you can memorize for 6 to 7 different openings, and the people who studied it and spent 10,000 hours doing it, can get to that point. I mean, their brains are just wired for it. So, wouldn't take chess seriously, but I don't have time. I don't have time to do it. So somebody please tell my wife. Wojciech's in here. He says, gone, Dick's Sports Outlet. Okay, well, there you go. There was Dick's Outlet for that. I'm going to tell you, the Supwell app has been a great resource for finding secondhand shoes for very cheap. The only thing is, I saw in there one time, some guy was like, "Yeah, I put 8 miles in these." And they look like, there's no way. They look like they had gone through at least 300 miles. I mean, that shoe was destroyed. And he was like, only asking, and he wasn't even asking a lot. I'm like, if you put 7 miles in a shoe, you wouldn't be asking for that little. But I mean, assuming the best, a lot of integrity there. So, all right, we've got 6 minutes. So if anyone wants to talk about what you're training for, any training talk, what you've been running. Summer's got me mentally weak. I got a lot of threshold intervals. I know I should probably hop on to like a treadmill. Just hate the treadmill so much to kind of see. And usually you can see like in the first reps before the overheating has taken place, you're kind of in a good place and you just got to trust that your fitness is there. So, but for all the last chance marathoners, for all the Boston qualifiers for that last chance, that was in September, I think. Berlin's in September. It's almost go time now. So, because we're within the 2 months. So I'm excited to see how my athletes are going to do in their races coming up. But to me, it doesn't cool down in South Texas until mid-October or like the second week of October. So everyone running these races, and then I have who train in not the most oppressive weather ever. So I just project my conditions on everybody else, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know. I mean, they're going to be racing, but Chicago's always nice weather. It always cools down. So the Captain Chaz says PB half attempt in November, then the North Carolina State 50K championship in January. That's awesome, Chaz. Is the 50K on the roads or is it on the trails? All right. Luis is in here saying he's doing the Tijuana half marathon in 2 weeks. Not doing so good. Arch of the feet is giving me unexpected niggles. On top or underneath, you got a little plantar fasciitis. Whoa. Kuvang says Javelina 100 end of October. That is insane. You and Eric are nuts. I'm still convinced that my word can't be trusted. I told you guys for weeks on end that I was going to stay away from the Pegasus Plus. That was my line. That was the in the sand. Line in the sand. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I own the Pegasus Plus. It just kept dropping. And I will tell you in the same breath that I am not going to run an ultra. I'm not doing ultras. I'm never graduating to ultras. I'm just not doing it. You call me mentally weak. That's fine. That's good. I don't care. I'm not doing it. I don't want to hallucinate. I don't want to suffer. I don't want to chafe that much. I don't know. I don't know how much time I have left, guys. I have time to only get good. I don't have time to get good at chess. I don't have time to get good at ultras. I got time to improve the marathon. That's it. That's it. And be a sparkling father for my children. That's all I got time for, guys. I don't know how much time I have left. The Captain Chaz says it's groomed to dirt road with some pavement. Road shoes for sure. You got to let me know what shoes you're going with on there. Ryan Johnson's in here. He says, I live in the UK and we had a bit of heat wave here in the last couple. Well, actually, what Ryan says is, I live in the UK and we've had a bit of heat wave here in the last couple. It's so terrible. I can't even finish the sentence. I'm sorry for butchering that. Someone told me you raise your hand and you talk at your hand and you will talk with a British accent. Scott Whaley's in here. He says, training for my first marathon, St. George, and it's 2,600 feet of elevation drop. So I got 1,400 feet of descent the last weekend over 2 runs, totaling 15 miles. Scott and Whaley. Okay, I got a runner. He's running this St. George's. And that's, would you start up at altitude? Do you train at altitude? Because the air is going to be thinner. Guys, I'm weak. I go to Salt Lake City, 4,300 feet. I'm a minute slower. I didn't even do like real altitude. So there's a Laredo, not Laredo. Lubbock. There's a Lubbock marathon, flat. Lubbock's Panhandle is flat, but it's like 3,000 feet. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't run it, so I can't tell you. Let's see. Ernest. Capped again. 50th Marine Corps Marathon is sold out. Wow. Well, I did the 49th. It did not go so well for me. I got to know a couple guys running it. My brother's running it. He lives in DC. I got a couple brothers who live in DC. It's a great race, and the temps were perfect last year. I know sometimes it could be warm, I was just overtrained. I was burning out, but it's a great race. So good luck, Ernest, if you're running it. It's a fun one. Very well supported. It gives major feels. So Philip Watt says he bought the full Brooks Hyperion line for training and racing 12 miler Labor Day weekend, half in October, full marathon Thanksgiving weekend. All right, well, keep us updated on the Brooks Hyperion line. I'm interested in the Brooks Hyperion Max 3, but I just don't think it'll be on sale. And you never know. Sometimes shoes pop up on the Supwell app for resale. So, but looks like they got a certified super trainer, whatever that means, on their hands. So best of luck on your runs. Tony Brinkman's here with some logic that I cannot deny. Do a 50 miler. No hallucinations on that. That's, yeah, a couple marathons back to back. It's doable. Maybe on the roads. I don't know. You don't know. Oh, okay. Scott and Whaley. Yeah, that's right. So I forgot Scott. That's my bad. He goes, he's in Utah. St. George starts at 5,200 and he usually runs at 4,500. So if you ever guys been to Salt Lake City, it looks like it does not look real. Like to see the land, it looks like the Truman Show. You just see the mountains on the landscape. Simulation for sure, 100%. I went to a Bees game when I was up there in the minor league team, and it was just a bunch of families holding babies and kissing babies, and then like looking at their phones and showing each other babies on the Instagram, on the IG. And I was like, no one's watching the game. Like whoever wrote this simulation needs to like, it's the 1.0. They need to like pay attention to the game. But anyway, all right. So we'll end with this. JBS is racing in Kerry, Ireland next week, 13.1 on a beach. Well, best of luck, JBS. When you're done, you got plenty of time to just lay out, soak it up. And actually, well, Stevie76 is contributing. He said, just got back from an Alaskan cruise. Temps in the low 50s and was able to run in Ketchikan and Skagway. But I did get scared I would run into bears when I was outside the touristy town center. I watch too many movies and I got a lot of narratives in my head. And if it's not the bears that get you, it's going to be aliens. These are the aliens in Alaska. So I'm glad you're safe, Stevie. I glad you made it back. So, pop into Buc-ee's and grab some, what are those little things called? I can't even think of it. Anyway, have a great week, guys. Hey, we made it all the way through without the internet cutting out. So we'll call it a win. Enjoy your week.